discomfort the client is feeling. Also will help with penetration of the needles and decrease the bouncing of the skin. Sometimes when the skin is left relaxed, it will bounce away from the needle as you move. So I'm holding it just tight enough not to distort it terribly. At this point, I'm going to start anesthetizing her brow, because I know that we'll shortly be working in this area. You can use a stronger anesthetic in this area, and the client will experience less discomfort likely in this area. Brenda is a fairer complected person, and I've explained to her that this brown is somewhat dark, but after healing, a lot of the dead skin cells that have absorbed the pigment in the test will have sloughed off, leaving her a much more subtle, softer eyeliner. We've chosen a medium to dark brown, and she can of course go darker on her touch-up visit. So that it falls in line with the corner of the nostril, corner of the eye, and the tail. And then the center of the eyeball should line up with your peak of your arch, and so forth. And somewhat straight line up from the side of the nose to the tip of the brow. Keeping those things in mind will help you achieve a nice symmetry. All right, now that we have a shape defined on her brow, I'll begin working on the outside. I've switched to a number 5, which will give me a broader stroke. And I will carefully work, slowly moving in the direction of the hairs. Some may prefer to outline with a dry needle the whole perimeter of the work area and create what is called a bloodline. I prefer to start in with pigment. Instead of creating a bloodline, I will work an actual pigment line, but not working a straight line, but rather a broken line. I work against the line as an artist would do in painting a portrait. Rather than going straight with the line, I make strokes that break that line. So the end result will be a much more diffused line. It's better as a default to use a broken line technique. And I will do this moving in the direction of the hair growth all the way around. And the idea is to establish an outline more or less so that I have that preserved as I move along. I'm taking care not to touch the area where I've painted the pigment so that I don't mess up the shape that I've established. Again, I'm moving with the hairline and lightly outlining the brow. And I won't wipe her until I feel that I've got a good outline of her shape. My years of training as an artist have taught me to use this sort of method to outline a shape and not just go straight in. Now I will wipe to see my outline. It is faint, but it is there. You can even use different strokes of color if you find it necessary, darker and lighter. I'm going to be careful not to go too dark on this initial procedure, not to get too much buildup of color, and then we can decide on her touch-up if she needs to go darker and denser. Okay, I'm going to put a little ointment on her brows to keep the skin supple and soft and protect it. I want to explain to Brenda not to put any home remedies or different medications. I prefer to have her use only petroleum ointment or an AD, vitamin A and D petroleum jelly. This will protect her, and if she does it lightly, it'll help her heal more quickly. You want to explain to your client not to go too thick with the ointment. I'm going to go back here and put some on her eyeliner work as well before we get going to the lips. Okay, now we're going to start on her lips.